Good evening, viewers. Welcome to a very quick tutorial on the absolute basics of putting on a clear varnish coat with an airbrush. I'm looking to do a gloss coat on this particular aircraft. As you can see, it's already got one on there, but that's before I put the decals on. So now that the decals are on, I'm going to do a second gloss coat just to make sure everything's been captured as well. So this is my basics on how to do it. So very simply, there's not an awful lot you need. You need your clear coat. I'm a big fan of Tamiya. This is the Tamiya X22. This is your clear. So if it's clear, it's a gloss coat. So it's a clear gloss. So you give it a good shake. I've been shaking that before the video, so that's all ready to go. We've got some Old Faithful Mr. Colour Leveling Thinner, which we're going to use, and we're going to mix these approximately a 50-50 ratio. So let me get those mixed up. Pipette. I'm not going to be too skimpy with this because I've got a reasonably large surface area to cover, so I want to make sure I've got enough. I don't want to be running out. And then just onto the paint, or the gloss I should say. There we go. Like I say, there's no science involved there, just visual mixing. Okay, so that's all ready to go. So I'm going to use my Harder & Steenbeck Ultra to do this because it's got a wider spray pattern. I'm not looking for anything particularly delicate here. We're just looking to cover the entire plane. So I'm going to use this one. It's nice and easy, easy to clean. So let's get that turned on. And we're just going to put some of the gloss mixture into the colour cup. Let's just see if we're getting spray. That's turned up a little bit too high. There we go, and I think we're looking good. So, and once you've got your airbrush working, it really is just a case of, I normally start with a mist coat, just a very light coat. And the reason I do that is just to give something for it to adhere to. So this will start to dry, and then any later coat that you put on, it's got something to adhere to. Like I said, I'm not being particularly attentive to detail here. I just want to get a good coat on the aircraft, particularly given that I do know it's already got a existing gloss coat, so I'm not paying any due care to really make sure I'm covering the entire thing perfectly. As long as I'm covering the decals, I'll be happy. And then we'll just try a little bit of a heavier coat. main thing you're looking for when you're doing this is you want it to start to look sort of wet. You need to have it looking wet, but at the same time you don't want it to be so wet that you start getting it running, because that will dry then with streaks and sort of runs. So it's just keeping the balance. As a general rule, if it isn't wet, it's not going to dry particularly glossy when it finishes. I'm just going to refill. I think that's us pretty much done for this top side. Now, obviously, I will turn this over and do the underside as well. But I found through sheer unfortunate trial and error that you can be a bit too impatient if you try and you know, for example, if you need to flip this over and rest it on something to be able to spray the underside. You've got to rest it on something. So whether you're putting something along here or whether it's on the wings somewhere where the gloss is still wet, even when it's 2 or 3 days old, you can still leave an imprint in the gloss if you don't let it dry properly. So while the temptation is there to just get it all done and get it finished as soon as you can, you need to have a bit of patience and just say, right, okay, I'm going to put this to one side now, give it 2 or 3 days, let it dry properly. And then you don't run the same risk of making a mess of your nice shiny paint job that you just put on. And then once those are all done, we'll be ready to start looking to do the weathering on it. But that's it. Yeah, nice and simple. Obviously, just make sure you clean your airbrush after you're done, particularly if you're using a clear coat, the gloss one in particular, because it's quite sticky. So if you leave it in your airbrush and you don't clean it properly, you are going to have a mess getting that sorted out for the next time you want to use it. So, but I've showed doing that on previous videos. I'm not going to go through that again, but always make sure you clean your airbrush. Okay, thanks for watching.